Hi, Diana. Thank you for coming in. Wait one moment, please. Still letting some people in. Shall we wait for our deputy director to come in first before we start?
Sure, madam.
Okay, we will start now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin in a while. I have a few housekeeping notes to make before we begin the program. First, I would like to seek your cooperation in completing this event successfully. Kindly make sure the mic is off to avoid interruption. Thank you for your kind cooperation and attention. A very warm welcome and good afternoon to the panel of judges, our special guests, Madam Aziza, our Tehsil Council for Language, Culture and Society lecturer, brilliant and bold speakers, and of course, our fellow audience.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon to all of you. It is our pleasure to be the MCs for the public speaking competition I am Muhammad Shakir Ashraf.
And I'm Padmisha Degrise.
On behalf of the Department of Planning, Research and Innovation, with us we have Muhammad Izairul Aiman bin Ibrahim and Muhammad Dizai Dizikri bin Difardi as our timekeepers today. We would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, and we appreciate you taking time off your busy schedule to join us today. And first of all, we would like to start this program by reciting a prayer by Muhammad Aiman Arif bin Abu Bakr. We welcome Muhammad Aiman.
Alright. للنبي وآله وأصحابه الكرام الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahim, praise be to God, the Lord of the worlds. Peace and blessing be upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, for those who followed his example till the judgment day. Allahumma ya Allah, on this blessed afternoon, in conjunction with the International Public Speaking Competition, we beseech thee and grateful towards you in favor of all the infinite blessings to us. Your humble servant, to live in safe and prosperous life. We seek your blessing for a flawless progress of this event from the beginning till the end. We seek your guidance to stay clear of events that would detrimental the progress of this event. Ya Latif, Ya Rahman, please bless us with your tawfiq and hidayah. Please guide IPG Ipoh campus to greatness, peace, glory, and prosperity in this world and the hereafter. Make us a responsible intellectual, granted us with a valuable knowledge that will be beneficial to mankind in order to gain your maradatillah. Make us your righteous servant that followed your commands and neglect the sinful act. Please forgive us for our wrongdoing. Ya Munzil al-Barakat, bestow peace to our beloved country, Malaysia. Preserve us from any threat and disaster, neither man-made nor natural disaster. And to you, Ya Allah, we ask for security and prosperity upon us, our leaders, our country. Bestow patience in us in order to face the challenges from you. Please accept our deeds and please reward us accordingly. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين يا رب العالمين.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you Muhammad Aiman Arif bin Abu Bakar.
To begin this competition, we are pleased to invite the judges. Let me introduce our Chief Judge today, Dr. Kanakamba Velusamy from Institute of Teacher Education, Ipoh, followed by Dr. Ajran Begum binti Ahmed from Institute of Teacher Education, Technique Campus, Madam Noor Divyana binti Mohammad Noor from Institute of Teacher Education, Rajam Lewar, and Mr. Emric King from Westlake International School. Without further delay, I would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Kadri bin Fazil Rahman, Deputy Director of Institute of Teacher Education, Ipoh, to spare some time to give us a short speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Kadri.
Sorry, can we start again?
Okay.
MC, please invite Deputy Director again.
Okay. To begin this competition, we are pleased to invite the judges. Now, without further delay, I would like to invite Dr. Mohammad Kadri bin Fazal Rahman, Deputy Director of Institute of Teacher Education, Ipoh, to spare some time to give us a short speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Kadri.
Thank you, Tarunisha, anak perempuan Jakartaisen. Good afternoon to the Director of LPG Campus Ipoh, Dr. Yahya Osman, Head of Planning, Research and Innovation Department, Dr. Munirah Abdul Hamid, our distinguished guests from the International School in Perak, lecturers and participants from IPG Campus Raja Melewa, IPG Teknik, W5 and W6 students of IPG Ipoh Campus, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my greatest pleasure and gratitude to the organizer of this event for inviting me to say a few words in this wonderful occasion. IPG Ipoh Campus is very proud to be able to collaborate with the international schools in the state of Perak for this friendly competition. We are also honored to be working together with two more IPGs, which are IPG Raja Melewa Campus and IPG Teknik Campus, in making this program possible. I would like to congratulate Dr. Munirah and her team for making this program possible, and I would also like to thank all accompanying lecturers, participants, MCs, and all involved for all your hard work and efforts towards this competition. I'm happy to note that this public speaking competition is an excellent time for participants to showcase their talents and further improve their English. In short, I hope that this competition has given more opportunities for the participants to enhance his or her ability to speak in public. As we all know, this program has the goal of exposing participants to the cultures from Malaysia and around the world. I believe we have participants from countries like Japan, Sudan, and Pakistan amongst us today. This will open our eyes to be aware of the importance of culture in empowering self, society, and the nation in particular. Besides, this program also aims to inculcate healthy competition among the participants so that the competition can be something fun and beneficial. Last but not least, sincerely hope this program will be a stepping stone for more collaborations between us and the international school in Perak in future. Congratulations, thank you, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Kadri, for that thoughtful speech just now. And now the time has come. I believe we shall start the competition. Before that, speakers, please do remember that all of you have an allocation of time for each of you 5 minutes. All the very best, everyone. Now, I would like to invite our first speaker, Nurul Izzah binti Muhammad Rusli, from IPG Ipoh, with the topic Why Malaysians Are United. Izzah, the stage is all yours.
Thank you for the MCs. So today, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon I bid to all the judges and the spectators. I'm Nurul Izzah from Ipgk Campus Ipoh, and today I would like to give a speech on why are Malaysians united. Malaysia has a multilingual society with different religions, traditions, and cultural practices. The three major groups in Malaysia are Malay, Chinese, and Indian. This country is unique in the community of nations in its diverse people and culture who live in harmony. Similarly, till today, we can see that these people have blended in very well with each other. It is almost as if there is no barrier nor obstacles in their friendship. They are united as Malaysians and are not separated despite having different cultures between them. Above all of this, there is always an exciting story about how a Malay, Chinese, and Indian can befriend, thus forgetting about the racism issue. Furthermore, we frequently hype up these kind of stories in social media to show the pride that we had as Malaysians. A true Malaysian will not be throwing hate among us, but instead will be supporting each other. And that's what's made Malaysia a harmonious country. Having said that, One Malaysia slogan has been very popular and effective as it is frequently used in various occasions in order to keep the unity among Malaysians. It is a slogan designed by Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak, Malaysia's sixth Prime Minister, in order to promote ethnic harmony and national unity in this beautiful country. This short but catchy slogan has been one of the trademarks to keep peace in Malaysia. In my personal opinion, this slogan perfectly describes the unity in Malaysia. But actually, what keeps us together is not just a shared love for the country, but also the spirit of muhibbah. In the Arabic, muhibbah means love or goodwill, but in Malaysia, it is much more than that. It is about togetherness, caring, and empathy. Ladies and gentlemen, when Malaysia gained independence in 1957, the leaders decided to adopt the Muhibbah concept as the unifying spirit in this country to ensure there will be no tension between the various ethnic. As a result, while Malaysia is officially an Islamic state, everyone has the right to follow and practices their religion. This shows that Malaysian has freedom to practice their own belief. Moreover, children in Malaysia were taught to respect other cultures. We were exposed with the five national philosophy that we need to obey as a citizen of Malaysia. The fifth philosophy, which is the mutual respect and good social behavior, has emphasized Malaysians to be thoughtful towards each other. And because of this early exposure in children, they grew up being a wonderful Malaysian. They can interact with each other comfortably, and they can converse among them cheerfully without caring about races, nor the gender. Sometimes we even mix up our language by using various phrases from Mandarin or Tamil like ayah, de, alamak, aduh in our daily conversation. Funny, right? But actually, a true Malaysian would understand the sentence perfectly. All in all, Malaysians are very familiar with every celebration in Malaysia. We'll be celebrating the Chinese New Year celebration when the time has come. Even the Malays and Indians will celebrate it with their Chinese friends. Same goes to Deepavali and Hari Raya. Moreover, Malaysian will be ecstatic when they heard the word open house during any celebration. It is a tradition for them to eat, enjoy, and have fun while celebrating the day together with their close friends and family. And actually, it is small things like these that keep us together. And these are why Malaysians are united. Thank you for listening to my speech. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Nurul Iza. Now, the competition continues with our second speaker from Westlake International School, Iman Saad Ali, with the topic, What is Pakistani culture and how has it changed over the years?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, judges, contestants, and viewers. My name is Iman, and I am here to talk about Pakistani culture and how has it changed over the years. If there was a country that distinctly contrasted with international image, it would certainly be Pakistan. We Pakistanis often face the dilemma of explaining what our culture really entails, thanks to the exaggerated and dramatized image the media has publicized. Though behind the scenes of it all lies a civilization who resiliently does their best to keep things that matter most intact. Without making presumptions and without further ado, let us dive deep into what exactly Pakistani culture is like and how has it changed over the years. To start off, I'd first like to highlight the diversity and vibrancy of our culture. Truly, it is a melting pot of the aromatic spices from India, the eloquent poetry from Persia, the soothing music from Afghanistan, the Sufism from Turkey, and the delicacies from Central Asia. There are over 15 different ethnic groups in Pakistan, which vary in physical features, customs, food, clothing, music, and so much more. Not only have ancient ethnic elements played a strong role into shaping our culture, but so have the religious influences of Islam. Pakistan's national language, Urdu, originated from the armies of Mughals, Afghans, Arabs, Turks, and has the beauty of absorbing words from different languages. Thirdly comes the music of Pakistan. Our diverse culture has allowed musicians to explore and venture into different forms and styles, as well as language and literature. Qawwali and ghazal are Pakistan's oral masterpieces. Platforms like Coke Studio have attracted millions of fans worldwide, ranging from non-Pakistani speakers to non-Urdus. Musicians today try to revive the classics and blend it in with modern styles to develop separate fusions of jazz, rock, funk, and blues. Our country's prevalent craftsmanship, especially Pakistan's truck art, isn't the only form of craft known globally. Our handicrafts contain a multitude of techniques, materials, and aesthetics. Arabic and Persian culture is one of the most prominent skills and can be found on building street walls, paintings, carved wood, and tapestry. Pottery, especially blue pottery, mostly found in Sindh, is also loved all over the world for its wood. Now, how can I talk about our culture and miss out on our food? Pakistani food is enjoyed worldwide. To us, it's like a religion, and with shops open up till 3 a.m., you can pretty much eat anything you want at any time. Every city and even villages have their own unique dish, such as biryani, nihari, and bun kebabs in Karachi. Lahore, known as the food hub of Pakistan, has its own iconic dishes like pai, morchole, golgappe, and lassi. A major element of our food is chai. To us, chai is not just a beverage, it's an event that is celebrated and toasted by all Pakistanis. We like our tea strong and sweet. also contains cardamom and spices, which make our tea really special. Pakistanis love sports too, especially cricket. Cricket was introduced by the British, but since then, cricketing season is like the fifth season of the year. Not to forget the traditional kabaddi, which in itself is a festival in different parts of Pakistan. Then we have Pakistani weddings. Weddings in Pakistan are what honestly manifests the richness in our culture. Single wedding would have many elements of our traditions, with a variety of colors, beautifully embroidered fabrics, lots of food, dancing, and music. Weddings are a serious deal in Pakistan, and preparations begin months prior to the event. Most weddings last up to 3 to 6 days. It usually starts with a day dedicated to henna application, followed by a musical night or a night with traditional ritual. And lastly, 2 days for 2 dinner parties arranged by the bride and groom side of the family. We have a rich culture, having influences from Arab, Persia, Mughal, and British colonialism, and have been impacted well by modernization and emerging technologies in this fast-changing time. We as a country have come a long way since our independence. Ours is a society that is constantly progressing and evolving. Yes, our culture has changed over time, yet we are still true to our roots, and we've not lost our identity. We've grown and adapted to a constantly changing world. If my parents love chicken tikka, my generation loves chicken tikka pizza. Our chai time has evolved into a celebratory high tea with the splendor of cuisine around it. This marriage of culture and modernization has helped better our image as a tolerant, flexible, and innovative people. Our clothes have a modern touch to it now, while still keeping its cultural hues. Reviving some of the our youth, our asset, has brought positive changes, reviving some of the forgotten traits of our culture, along with contemporary streams of modern times. For example, our youth has outcasted the dark shadows of dowry by standing up and challenging the old norm. Another remarkable feature is how women are recognized. We see strong and confident women in politics, with the first female prime minister in the Muslim world, leading female protagonists in education and social well-being. Female education is now promoted. Human rights are now issued and dealt with, addressed and dealt with. Cultural norms are not just downloaded, they are improvised and fuel a progressive society where men and women are treated as equals. However, the respect offered by men to women has not attenuated, and we still see men offering their seats to women in buses and trains. Our culture is our pride. Our patriotism has enabled us to surmount the highest peaks of the world. Our nation was founded on the principles of unity, faith, and discipline. No matter what the future holds, our culture will grow on the basis of its strong roots. Pakistan Zindabad. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ayman, for that speech. And I believe we shall have our third contestant, which is Emerald Eugenia Anak Jawau from Ipgk Raja Melewar, with the topic Malaysia, a cultural kaleidoscope. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Emerald. Please welcome Emerald Eugenia.
Salam sejahtera, assalamualaikum, ni hao, and vanakkam. First and foremost, I'd like to ask, how is everyone doing so far? How has everyone's day been? Slow, busy? Did you had a nice lunch today? Oh, speaking of lunch, I had a splendid lunch today, ladies and gentlemen. I had nasi lemak. Ah, yes, nasi lemak, the unofficial national dish of Malaysia. You know, when you think about it, why is that so? We need to make that official now, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, speaking about food, when we talk about Malaysia, we simply cannot miss talking about the food here. Thanks to the cultural diversity of this fine country, if I do say so myself, it has contributed in a variety of different dishes and delicacies ranging from multiple cultures. For instance, like I mentioned earlier, the nasi lemak founded by the Malays, known for its rice cooked in coconut milk and pandan leaves, served with nuts, anchovies, cucumbers, sambal, and many other side dishes. Next, you also have the Chinese with their chicken rice, a dish of poached chicken served with rice, chilies, and cucumber garnishes. Last but not least, you also have the Indians with their dosai, a thin pancake made from fermented batter served with chutney and sambar. My goodness, all this talking about food is making me hungry, ladies and gentlemen, and to think I just had lunch. You see, we as Malaysians love our food, and it is through our food that we're able to grow closer to each other. To be able to spend time with family and friends ranging from multiple cultures has brought to the exchange of this culture, only to bring us even closer to each other. Interracial marriage has also contributed in a way to our closeness through food. As they say, a way to a man's heart is through their stomach, right? So please, next time, don't hesitate to visit your family or friends from different races and try their food, especially during festivities. Speaking of festivities, it is surely a treat when you're Malaysian. Part of the reason is, due to the cultural diversity in Malaysia, we would wish to keep the harmonious environment we have here. As a result, one effort that the Malaysian government has took is by announcing every single festivity recognizable in Malaysia as a public holiday. Isn't that amazing? So you see, as a result, regardless your cultural background, whether it be during Eid Bara, which is Hari Raya, or Diwali, you wouldn't have to go to school or go to work. Obviously, apart from the days off, in which we're very grateful for, it has also contributed in us understanding these cultures more. So please, next time, don't hesitate to visit your Malay friend during Eid Mubarak, or your Indian buddy who celebrates Diwali, or your Chinese friend during Chinese New Year. And don't forget to wish them 恭喜发财,新年快乐, which, by the way, translates to congratulations upon the abundant wealth and Happy New Year. Ah, yes. Another thing to talk about Malaysia is none other than its diverse language use. Obviously, being a country with multiple ethnicities, you're going to come across plenty of different languages. First and foremost, you have the international language, the English language, which is being used worldwide. Then you also have the national language, the Bahasa Melayu. Then you also have Mandarin, Tamil, and the lesser known Bahasa Iban and Bahasa Kadazan Dusun, which are actually widely used in the states of Sabah and Sarawak, and are considered standard languages as can be seen through the publication of textbooks and the teaching of the language itself in schools. So you see, as a result of this, if not all of us, most of us end up being multilingual, bilingual at most. I myself can speak 4 languages, you know. This in return has made us into a polyglossic community. This has also in return consequently made us code switch and code mix in our daily conversations, which have been proven to be quite entertaining to hear, ladies and gentlemen. For instance, in Malaysia, we have this term called ghostan. So for those who don't know, ghostan actually translates to reverse, specifically when reversing a vehicle, especially cars. However, the word itself is derived from the term go astern, which is a term specifically used when reversing a ship. So automatically, all the drivers in Malaysia turn into captains of ships. But in the end of the day, it's all because of these little things that bring us even closer to each other. So what if we learn? Malaysia is a food paradise consisting of many different types of dishes and delicacies ranging from multiple cultures. Malaysia is also a melting pot of festivities ranging from Eid Mubarak to Diwali. And last but not least, let us also not forget about the unique linguistic structure of the Malaysian society. In the words of Stephen R. Covey, strength lies in differences, not in similarities. You know, with so many things happening at the same time in the same country, it is surely a wonder how it can turn to something so beautiful. Kind of like a kaleidoscope. Malaysia, a cultural kaleidoscope. That is all I have for today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emerald. Now, I would like to call upon our fourth speaker, Matsumoto Eriko, from Westlake International School, with the topic Cross-Cultural Communication.
Good afternoon to the judges and everyone. My name is Eriko. I'm from Japan. I'm turning 16 this year. It has been 5 years since I'm in Malaysia and studying international school. All communication is cultural. It draws on the way we have learned to speak and give nonverbal communication. We do not always communicate in the same way because of our factors like context, individual personalities, would interact with a variety of cultural influences that we have attributed that influence our choices. Communication is very interactive and very important. Today's world connected with the internet, and in the case of the international travel. I think everyone knows how to get on a plane and visit other foreign countries and get a ticket and have a go to the holiday to other countries. Even with all this access, some of the Japanese in general are not known to go to other foreign countries because of some Japanese problem, because is really important. Even with all this access, some of the Japanese is not known to get to other countries because they are not aware of the cross-cultural competence. Cross-cultural communication is really important for us, not only for Japanese. This increases in contact with other people around the world has increased in numbers, and due to the new technology, new information systems, and new situations like COVID-19. One way to have Japanese to improve the English level is by putting them into a contact with international students. Maybe some people think that it is very easy to accomplish, but it is wrong. Japanese has so much difficulties to speak in English. Because I also have experienced the same thing. I also have the difficulties in speaking English and express my feelings with others. But successfully, as the time went by, I also studied English, and eventually I am always talking English with friends in school every day. As I've mentioned, learning. Why is it so difficult for us to speak and learn English? Surprisingly, there are various matters to this problem. Firstly, Japanese are shy and not assertive. Generally, Japanese are not speak to the public and talk with foreigners. This is because Japanese are shy and afraid of making mistakes. They will feel embarrassed to speak English, and they are afraid if someone laughs at you. Secondly, Japanese has less opportunities to talk with foreigners. Since Japan is an island country, only less foreigners are living in Japan and working in Japan. So that leads to the Japanese have less level of English ability to talk with foreigners. But however, at this moment, Japan school is mandatory to learn English because the Japanese government proposed changes to increase the level of English ability for school students. It's really important for us since it's Olympic Games was planning to held on 2020, which was postponed to 2021 in August. And but why do we need to increase our English level, even though we aren't using English in Japan much often? Because last time in 1900s, Japan was the most as one of the developed economies in the world. We didn't have to rely on other countries, and we could improve our economies by ourselves. But however, this idea is already out of date. It has some difficulties to develop our economies without any interactions with foreign countries. This is why the cross-cultural communication is very important. And I'd like to conclude my speech with two main points. Cross-cultural communication is very important because it is connected to the world, manage the communication between different cultures. And also, having second language should improve myself while preparing for the globalization. Thank you for listening. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you, Matsumoto-san. Now, our fifth contestant will be Wan Iskandar Zulkarnain bin Wan Ahmad Khairudi from Ipgk Technic Campus with this speech, Cultural Tolerance as the Framework to a Functioning Society.
Right, so before we begin, I would like to thank the organizer for this wonderful opportunity to be able to stand here to deliver a piece of my own in relation to the theme of our competition culture. Good afternoon, I bid to the honorable judges, and despite the environment and setting, I am giving my utmost respect to my fellow competitors, for their spirit is something I truly admire. Not forgetting the fellow audiences, thank you for sparing your time to be present for today's special occasion. Now, to start with, I believe we are all familiar with the lines or statements regarding certain races within the country. For example, I believe we are all familiar with the lines that says, the Malays are lazy, or the Chinese are pigs, and the Indians are black and dirty. Now, if these things still persist, how can we achieve a truly united, harmonious, and functioning society? Which is why I believe the key element to a functioning society lies within cultural tolerances. The present is nothing like the past. Societies has been constructed on top of its people that came with various cultural practices and backgrounds. Now, culture is a beautiful thing. It is an identity, a personality, and a representation of a group of individuals living under the same precinct. However, the differences can be a sign of a much bigger problem, which is intolerances. And at times, diversification can be scary and horrifying. And we have witnessed countless incidents which simply originated from a minor sense of endangerment. Now, I am sitting here not to blame or start pointing fingers at anybody, but the truth can sometimes hurt. Except without it, we would not be able to fix the bigger mess the current society has successfully accumulated. Which is why, and again, I must stress, tolerance is key, and it should be the central idea behind our development and for us to successfully push through as a civilization. Now, I am a proud citizen of my own land, the land I called my home, Malaysia. But unbeknownst to the world, while the country has since enjoyed its independence since the 1957, we have yet to successfully cultivate a truly harmonious society. Now, the policies set in place are still racially biased and racially influenced, which is to some extent an issue that is affecting both sides of the story. Now, on the surface, everything may seem as fine as a bottle of wine, except the surface of an ice can hide 1,000 killer whales waiting for the right time to swallow their prey. Now, the question here is, how can we set a better path ahead of us, since we are no longer living in a time where societies are simply monolithic? Today's generation are open to new ideas and suggestions, and this should be maximized as much as possible. Now, parents should nurture their children with true ideals of tolerances and intercultural relations, expose them to multiracial interactions. It is so amazing to see that children from different cultural backgrounds, practices, and even languages are still able to interact despite the clear boundaries that exist between them. Now, it goes to show that humans are naturally tolerant. Intolerance is something that is developed and not innate. And furthermore, I believe respect and mutual understanding between one another is vital in a pluralistic nation. Now, these key characteristics is the central framework behind our development. The reality is, these characteristics are among the top reasons why cultural conflicts or clash of civilizations still exist. Now, indirectly, these elements are crucial in making our society more robust and vigorous. Now, as a result, the process of establishing a peaceful and harmonious society will be an effortless and undemanding journey. And also, discriminations against those of different culture has to stop. It is the ultimate tool behind many political movements as a means of garnering support of the majority, consequently creating civil unrest and weakening the strength and foundation of a nation which stood behind a single wall of unity. Now, leaders of many kinds should proactively participate in the effort of instilling cultural tolerances, be it political leaders, religious leaders, or head of institutions. Each and every single one of us are leaders of our own, and we are all responsible in the race to achieving true unity. Now, only then this lovely home can truly see and witness some critically needed progress and the development that it deserves through its people that can happily enjoy and work in an environment where differences are put aside, and we can all solely fix our eyes on the road to fulfilling our objectives and goals. Now, in the end, all of this would not only benefit us, but also many others. When we can successfully build a truly peaceful and a harmonious society, we will be able to finally shift our focus and help those in need instead. That will be all from me. Now let us make it our daily goal to do something good and spread kindness, for this world is already filled with tremendous amounts of evil, and a small act of kindness might be the one to change and shape shift the future. Now, thank you very much for listening, and may our day be blessed as always. Peace.
Thank you, Wan Iskandar. Now moving on to our sixth speaker, Abdullah Muhammad Abdullah Ayub from Westlake International School with a speech topic, Life in Sudan.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abdallah. I'm 14 years old, and I'm turning 14. So, today my speech is going to be about life in Sudan. So, quick geography about Sudan. It is located in the north to eastern region in Africa and bordered by Egypt in the north, the Red Sea to the northeast, Eritrea and Ethiopia to the east, South Sudan to the south, the Central African Republic to the southwest, and Chad to the west, and Libya to the northwest. So these are its neighboring countries. Also, it is also connected to the Nile River of Egypt, both its Blue Nile and White Nile. White Nile. So now that I've explained about Sudan's geography, allow me to talk about my daily life in Sudan. So I visited Sudan every end of the year for a month or two, and I usually stay at my grandparents' house or my dad's rented house. So since last year there was COVID and we were restricted into going overseas. So allow me to share my experience in Sudan from the past 30 days and some well-known facts about Sudan. So to go to Sudan, you have to take two flights, one from Kuala Lumpur to Dubai, and then Dubai to Khartoum, which is Sudan's capital. So once we arrived to the airport, so our private taxi was waiting for us to pick us up. So the drive was short and not too long because my grandparents' house were actually very near. So it would take like only 30 minutes. So once we arrived at the city, it was very busy and you could see children playing everywhere in the sidewalks from the road and shops everywhere, ranging from clothes to exotic spices. And it's kind of a bit noisy. So we finally made it to my grandparents' house, and the next thing I saw was tears of joy from my mom and my grandparents because it has been like almost 3 years since my mom met her mom and dad. So, uh, so the first day we just celebrated. I had a feast. So on the 10th day, we usually go to our relatives' house, specifically my dad's house. So in Sudan, the houses are actually kind of similar to Malaysia. It has gates surrounding the house, and it is actually quite spacious from the outside and the inside. But what I've noticed is it's actually quite bigger in Sudan. Well, and then it's kind of quite big. So we kind of just like prayed for like no, we just like stayed there for 3 hours and then also prayed. And then after meeting them, we just went back. So also what I've also noticed that in Sudan, the air it has such less light pollution that you can actually see the moon from in 5 p.m. and also the stars. So we went back, and on the 15th day, we went to another state which is called Omdurman, and It, yeah, so its drive there was only like an hour, and usually I just slept because it's kind of too long. And, and then after we arrived, I took a glimpse of what was happening, and what I saw was just lights everywhere, and both dubstep and traditional music playing in the background. And when I got out of the car, I could see hills, green stable hills, and I could see families and friends having picnics there. And then when I looked to my right, I saw a huge river, and I was assuming it was the Buna because it was actually nearer to Khartoum and Omdurman. So once we arrived there, and then when I looked even further, I could see the buildings being lit up just like candles. It was such a beautiful night view. So once we were done sightseeing, we went to our hill, and we ate a Sudanese traditional dish called kissa. So basically, it's fermented flatbread, and we ate with a savory green soup called molokhia. So it was honestly my favorite food ever. So once we were done eating, we went back to the van and back to Khartoum, and it was 10 already at the time, so we went to sleep immediately. So it has been a few days since we visited Omdurman. So on the 25th day, my mom and dad want to surprise me and my siblings by going to the pyramids of Meroe. So some facts about pyramids of Meroe: it was actually built 2,700 years ago. So it was also Sudan was actually also part of Egypt. So they also had similar buildings, similar of the pyramids, just like Egypt. Okay, and so the drive was actually a bit too long because it's like 4 hours to get there. So I just also took a nap, and then when we arrived there, I could see red sand everywhere, and it was small, and it was from the Nubian desert. So we finally arrived, and I could see the pyramids. They were straight. They were kind of straighter, and they were also quite a bit tall, and they also have a sand brick hallway. So as we explored further, I could see also Egyptian writings, and also the Nubian kings, and and we could also see locals trying to like climb one of them because it was actually quite short, but then there was some like they were too tall. So it was the end of the day, and it was night soon, and we had to go back to Khartoum. The night view was also very nice. We could see the moons and the stars very clear. So the final day in Sudan, we just said our relatives goodbye, and yeah, we just and then we just headed on to the airport like 9 a.m. in the morning. So during our Korean tour, I was very happy I met Sudan's greatest wonders, and I was hoping to come back soon. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is how life in Sudan is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah, for the interesting speech. Next, our seventh speaker will be Lena Montasir Osman Ahmed from Wesley International School with the topic Weddings, a Sudanese essential tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lena Montasir.
Thank you so much, Shakir Ashraf. So, North Sudan, a country located in the center of Africa, with people, traditions, foods, and a culture that has evolved tremendously over the past 100 years. Sudan is an Islamic country, which is why we share a lot of similar traditions and practices to our neighbors. However, one very significant aspect of our culture that is shared with no other country is our way and our practice of weddings. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, judges, viewers, and contestants. I'm Nia Montasir from Westlake International School, and I'm here today to talk about the detailed, thorough, and yet intriguing practice that we Sudanese people perform when it comes to marriages. Now, a wedding, as we all know, is one of the most important and essential part of one's life. It not only indicates the moment someone vows to their spouse, but it also shows the transition from being an individual to being a partner. So you can imagine just how important this event is. Well, in Sudan, weddings are not a simple one-day process. The whole process, from preparation to ceremony to even celebration, can last almost more than 6 months. The families of both the groom and the bride go through a lot of preparation, as well as various traditional events that eventually lead to the final wedding day. For today's speech, I will break off this whole process into 3 simple sections. We have the pre-events, the event itself, as well as the post-event. So the pre-event is usually 2 to 3 months before the wedding and is basically preparation for the wedding ceremony. During this time period, there are 2 very special events that take place, one for the bride and one for the groom. So the man is an event which takes place 2 months before the wedding that is directed towards the bride and her family. Now, this event might sound familiar to some of you since it might be more or similar to what your traditions practice. However, in this event, the groom, along with 20 to 30 people from his side, bring money and gifts to the bride and her family. These gifts usually include gold jewelry, cosmetics, raw food materials such as onion, and raw materials used to make Sudanese traditional perfumes, which I will be touching more about later. So these gifts that are given are bought in bundles. This means that multiple pieces of the same cloth will be bought together for the bride. For instance, if a groom was to buy a dress for his bride, he would probably buy 6 of the same brand, but each of the dresses would vary in design. In some families, they buy in 3s, some buy in 6s, and some even buy in 12s. It ranges greatly according to the groom's capable budget. Other than also hands sweets, candy, and money in the form of gifts and decoration to the bride's family. On the same event, the bride's family hosts this gathering and would have prepared dinner as well for all of them to enjoy together. Also, a few days subsequent to this event, both families would have discussed and set a date for the wedding to take place. Now, coming back to the interesting part about the Sudanese traditional perfume, during this 2 to 3 months gap between the post-event between the post-event and the wedding itself, the bride's family uses these raw materials to make what is known as khumra. This is what it looks like, and it is usually the bride that is wearing this. So the elder women in the family are usually the ones who make the perfume, and some other families, on the other hand, they hire skilled workers instead to do the job. Now this process is really, really difficult and takes quite a long time. It could take from 2 weeks to even a whole month just to prepare. Other than this perfume making process, the groom is to also make necessary preparations for the wedding day. These include booking a venue, a singer, as well as hiring chefs to cook for the guests on that day. Fatur al-Aris, the second event during this break period, which directly translates to the groom's breakfast, is an event that is directed towards the groom, his family, neighbors, and friends. At this event, the bride and her family take time to also use part of the raw food material I mentioned earlier to cook food for the groom and his family. Now this is as breakfast and is shared with the groom's acquaintances. Now, just so you know, this event is not as big as the bride's event, but instead it's just mainly dinner, eating, and even more eating. Now, all of the previous events that I mentioned earlier were all parts of the pre-event. Now, I would like to move on to the actual ceremony. So, in this wedding, we had 3 on this day itself. So, the day of the wedding ceremony in Sudan is busier than ever, with last-minute preparations taking place. Every single this day is the busiest out of the whole process. So to start off the grand ceremony, the elder men as well as the male children from both the bride and the groom's side meet at the mosque to carry out an Islamic tradition that Muslims listening here will probably know, and this is called the niqab. So after this event, this niqab practice, Islamic tradition, they would host the actual wedding ceremony on the same day at 9 p.m. So it's just like the typical wedding ceremony with the bride wearing a long white dress and the groom wearing a formal white and black suit. Now after this is something called jaltik. Now this is related to Sudanese culture, and in this event, the bride and the groom change from their formal clothes to Sudanese clothes made out of silk, and they're overall red with hints of gold to bring out the contrast of the clothing. The fabric, along with beads, accessories, henna, as well as an abundance of gold, is by far one of the most traditional highlights of Sudan. After this, some other families also hold something called the dance, which is directly translated to the dance of the bride. This is held in the morning after the wedding day and is optional. Some families do it and some don't. Now this whole process, from the very beginning to the very end, shows the endless work of family members working together to make this event a success. Not to mention that in one wedding, there could be over 1,000 guests, which was the case for my parents. And can you believe all of these would just be the family and friends of the newlyweds only? This shows the strong bond each of our generations have in Sudan, as well as the hard work and process of the whole procedure. North Sudan, Africa's 3rd largest country and home to more than 45 million people, is a country with a very high standard of weddings. From preparation to ceremony to celebration, everyone works hard to make every detail perfect and flawless. Ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of this long process as well as the end of my speech today. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Lena. Moving on to our next speaker, Noor Aulia Safia binti Abdul Latif from Ipgk Ipoh campus with a speech topic, Different Races Practice Different Cultures. How is Malaysia Still United?
Even the weak become strong when they are united. Friedrich von Schiller. Where there is unity, there is always victory. First of all, I would like to thank both of the MCs for handling this program very well. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day I bid to the honorable judges, our attentive timekeeper, beloved lecturers, my other high-spirited competitors, and not forgotten to all of my fellow friends. My name is Noor Aulia Safia binti Abdul Latif, and I am from Institute of Teacher Education, Ipoh campus, will be presenting my speech regarding the unity in Malaysia. I hope each of you will lend me your ears and full of attention for a while. Different races practice different cultures. How is Malaysia still united? This is the title for my speech today. And how is it related to the quotes I've given just now? Well, as everyone can see, in Malaysia, each race is united in achieving a vision for our country's peace and success. It is crystal clear when it comes to political context, where it has been seen that the leaders from our country came from various backgrounds. In this day, not only Malays are given the trump card to lead our country, but also other races such as Chinese and Indians are given the same opportunity as well. To strengthen this statement, I will give you few examples of our politician in this day. Firstly, Yang Berhormat Datuk Saifuddin bin Abdullah, our Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. Secondly, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri IR Dr. Wee Ka Siong, our Ministry of Transportation. And lastly, our Minister of Human Resources, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Saravanan Anak Lelaki Murugan. With the contribution from different races in Malaysia's cabinet members, these will lead our country in achieving harmony and equality among the society. Other than that, it will also avoid the racism and misunderstanding to the people in Malaysia. To my dearest ladies and gentlemen, other than political aspect, people in Malaysia create a strong bond between each other when it comes to celebration. Since there are many races and religions in Malaysia, people tend to celebrate various of celebration. This is what unites us even more. But how? For instance, when Hari Raya Aidilfitri celebration, the hosts usually invite the people to come to their open house without even considering their background. It is because the celebration is not meant to be celebrated by the one who only celebrates them. In Islamic context, we are encouraged to be kind to everyone, no matter where they came from. So, by having a feast on Celebration Day, it is a brilliant way in strengthening the bond between people in Malaysia. By having these kind of feasts will also help to improve someone's knowledge about one's culture. How? For example, when Chinese came to Hari Raya Aidilfitri celebration, they will surely observe the environment. Indirectly, they will get to know more about what food that usually served on that day and also what people usually do. Gaining some cultural knowledge will surely help an individual to get to know about people in their surrounding better. Education is the most powerful weapon which can be used to change the world, by Nelson Mandela. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we cannot deny that good education provides a country to have a better quality people. In order to achieve a great unity from our people, we need to serve each of them with top-tier education first. So, in this case, school play a vital role to unlock this achievement. In this globalization era, our Malaysian education system has inspired the teachers and students to use 21st century learning. It focuses more on the interaction and the way the students communicate between each other. This situation lets the student to share their ideas and information when the discussion happens. When this situation happens, they will not even be bothered by each other's backgrounds anymore. It is because they knew that the most important thing at that time was the knowledge that are being shared by all the members. To my dearest ladies and gentlemen, from all that being said, I can summarize that Malaysia is a really peaceful country, and I can confidently say that we have achieved a great unity from our people. However, good things will not last forever. So, as a proud Malaysian, we need to be responsible in taking our part in maintaining our peace. Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. So, let's strengthen our people's unity for our country's bright and better future. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Aulia Safia. And now, for the main speaker is Bilal Nasir from Westlake International School. And the topic is Land of the Pure. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bilal Nasir.
Good afternoon, fellow competitors and judges. Today I'm going to be talking about Land of the Pure. land of the pure. So can you tell me what the most common thing is that people tend to bond over? I'm sure a lot of you are thinking about food, which is true. I, for one, love to take my friends on the delicious journey of food from my culture. I know it's tempting, but try to control your hunger throughout my talk. If you haven't already figured it out, we are going on a journey of our own today, through the various and scrumptious delicacies of Pakistan. Before we begin, for the appetizer, let me tell you a little bit about Pakistan first. Pakistan was created in 1947. The name literally translates to Land of the Pure. Many confuse Pakistan as a Middle Eastern country. Fun fact, it's not. It's located in South Asia, bordered by India, Iran, Afghanistan, and China. Hence, we have a huge flavor profile, bearing similarities with many of our neighboring countries, but with our own unique flair. Now for the main course. Pakistani cuisine is an age-old art based on Indus Valley cooking and tradition involving a refined blend of various aromatic flavors and spices. Throughout history, it has also incorporated Middle Eastern, Central Asian, and Western Asian influences, and not to forget the Mughal legacy. There are various types of cuisines in Pakistan: the Kashmiri, Punjabi, Balochi, Sindhi, and Pashtun cuisine, each hailing from the various provinces of Pakistan. The Kashmiri cuisine is strongly influenced by the Persian culture. Rice is the staple food and has been so since ancient times. Meat along with rice is the most popular food item in Kashmir. The most popular dish in Kashmir is the mutton rogan gosh. It is an aromatic lamb dish of Persian origin, which is one of the signature recipes of Kashmiri cuisine. Rogan Josh means cooked in oil at intense heat. Another interpretation of the name Rogan Josh is derived from the word Rogan, meaning red color, and Josh, meaning passion or heat. Moving on to Punjabi cuisine, which refers to the food and culture from Punjab, Pakistan. Lahori food from the city of Lahore is extremely rich in food culture and is commonly known for Punjabi food. People from Lahore are famous all over the country for their love for food, hosting a variety of food streets well known by food lovers nationwide and in some cases global foodies too, such as Mark Wiens and the Food Ranger. In Lahori cuisine, the most famous dish is the gosht karai, which is mutton or chicken cooked with a spicy tomato-based gravy made in a large pot to serve many. It is usually served with naan bread or sometimes even aromatic bay leaf rice. Not sure about you, but I'm starting to get hungry. Hailing from Balochistan, one of the four provinces of Pakistan, is the Balochi cuisine. It uses more meat than other ingredients. The most popular dish is the saji. It consists of whole lamb or chicken in skewers, marinated only in salt, sometimes covered with green papaya paste for extra tenderness. This is normally served with raita, a yogurt-like fresh side dish which consists of some cut cucumbers and tomatoes for extra cooling, and it's even eaten with naan or just by itself just to feel the spiciness of the food. The Sindh province has much to offer in terms of food. Karachi, the major city of the Sindh province, is a food lover's paradise. Nihari, a rich gravy cooked with beef and served with naan, is a Karachi favorite. The most well-known delicacy of Karachi is its karai, a dish which was named after the pan in which it is cooked, similar to a wok. It's a meat dish cooked in onions and tomatoes and has a delicious gingery aroma to it. Karai is the go-to meal for any night out. Similar to Lahore, Karachi has its fair share of street food to offer. Many Karachi residents would swear by the Burns Road bun kebabs, a spicy burger-like dish mainly eaten on the streets of Pakistan and enjoyed by many people. And lastly, the Pashto cuisine refers to the delicacies of the people from the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of northern Pakistan. The food has influences from the Afghan cuisine and is largely based on the plethora of meat dishes that include lamb, beef, chicken, and fresh fish, as well as rice and some other vegetables. A popular dish in Pashtun cuisine is the Kabuli pulao. Perhaps you have heard of the Uzbeki or Afghan pilaf. The Kabuli pulao consists of steamed rice mixed with raisins, carrots, beef, or lamb. There exist different variations depending on the region. In Pakistan, it is served with some raita, tomato spice gravy, and sometimes with a meaty side dish. And what is dinner without dessert? From the creamy rice pudding called kheer to the Mughal era Shahi Tukre, which translates to royal pieces and is our variation of bread pudding. Us Pakistanis sure have a sweet tooth. In winter, we enjoy a freezing block of toffee, a velvety creamy ice cream of sorts, and on a hot summer day, we indulge in chando-like ice cream, shakes called faluda, and shaved ice on a stick, slattered in a flavoring of our choice called gola ganda. Let's not forget the most important part of Pakistani culture, tradition and cuisine. No gathering is complete without it, our days don't begin without it, and our tiresome selves aren't recharged without it. Quite literally, the fuel of our nation is tea. We have pink tea, green tea, milk tea, black tea, and a lot of tea to spill. So next time you meet someone from Pakistan, just wait for them to offer you a cup of tea. I guarantee you they will do it. Now, I would like to end my speech with a quote by Jonathan Safran. Food is not rational, food is culture, habit, craving, and identity. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Bilal. And now I would like to call upon our last speaker, Hira Akbar from Westlake International School, and the topic is Pakistani Heritage.
It is no secret that Pakistan is the land of richness. We are a group of passionate, expressive, and compassionate people. We have shown it through the past, the present, and will continue to do so in the future. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hira Akbar. I'm 16 and I'm from Pakistan. Today, I'll be taking you along on a journey to visit two of the 6 cultural heritage sites in Pakistan, the remnants of my ancestry that still stand tall today. After being founded in 1947, Pakistan has been a hotspot for cultural diversity, with influences from countries all around the world like India, Persia, countries from Central Asia and South Asia. Pakistan is a melting pot of cultures. It's home to over 15 major ethnicities. So don't be surprised when we have our ample share of lavish history. Out of so many sites and movements, UNESCO has identified 6 as official World Heritage Sites. Now you may be wondering, how does heritage fall under culture? Well, heritage falls under the tangible culture category, which is anything such as monuments, buildings, landscapes, and artifacts. So to start on our journey, the first place we'll be visiting is the archaeological ruins at Mohenjo-Daro, which is located in the Sindh province. During its lifetime between 1900 BC and 2500 BC, the city was crucial to the Indus Valley civilization. In fact, its advanced architecture, engineering, and elaborate drainage systems made it one of the largest settlements of its time. Excavated in the 1920s, archaeologists found evidence that the city was home to trading. Pottery, intricate seals with religious markings, artifacts, copper tools, and weights. The city truly flourished with trade. Due to its extended trade connections across Asia, the city's wealth was evident. Found in the same excavations were luxurious beads of lapis lazuli, agate stones of all colors, red carnelian, and gold beads. The city itself was divided into 2 sections, the Acropolis and the commercial buildings and private houses.
Now, in the city, there was no evidence of a royal house for a king or queen. In fact, there was a complicated drainage system in place. Every house in that city had its own bath and drainage system. So the professionals at National Geographic have come to the conclusion that Mohenjo-daro was probably deeply insistent on the ideologies surrounding cleanliness. Now, the second place we'll be visiting is the Lahore Fort and Shalimar Gardens. By the way, Lahore is my hometown. It was where I was born. Lahore is a popular tourist attraction. The structures within the fort date back to the Mughal civilization. The Mughal civilization was led by great and notable emperors, some which you may know or have heard of, such as Babur, Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan. The fort itself was destroyed on multiple occasions, but obviously it has been rebuilt. Majority of the structures within the fort are from when Akbar was in reign, and a few of them were continued by his successors. The fort itself contains palaces made of mosaics and mirrors, mosques made of elaborate designs, and ornamental ponds. The city itself is an elaborate construction. However, the highlight of Lahore isn't any of this. It's the Badshahi Masjid, the Imperial Mosque. The Imperial Mosque is so large that it makes it one of the largest mosques in the world. Some of the other important buildings within the fort are the Khanika Sawab, which is like an auditorium for commoners within the city, the sleeping chambers of Emperor Jahangir, the Sheesh Mahal, which translates to the Glass Palace, the Divan-e-Am, which is the Hall of 40 Pillars, and the Alamgiri Gate. Making the fort is the only place in Pakistan which shows the various phases of development within the Mughal Empire. Now, only 7 kilometers away from the fort are the Shalimar Gardens, which were constructed by Emperor Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan built these gardens in sight of the gardens that he built in Kashmir, which were a great success. Now, the Shalimar Gardens house a royal canal which feeds all the 410 fountains within the park. Pakistan is an exhilarating country, whether it be the beautiful landscape or historical ruins. With all the influences from countries across Asia, Pakistan is a unique product of its own. And with that, I hope that you have managed to get a glimpse of my vibrant culture, and that you have managed to break down what the media has portrayed of us. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your active participation in this public speaking competition. Now, I would like to invite one of our judges, Dr. Kanakamba Velusamy, to give her evaluation of the contestants' performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Kanakamba.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm very sorry to say that my camera is not functioning well, and I'm having slightly a bit of sore throat. But I think you can hear me clearly. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Yes,
doctor. Okay, I would like to start by saying this quote by Mahatma Gandhi. A nation's culture resides in the hearts and in the soul of its people. That's what I believe all of you have presented that in that tune. Yeah, this really suits Mahatma Gandhi's quote. Yeah, you mentioned about your nation's culture with full of passion. Yeah, that is indeed something that is remarkable. Okay, a blessed day. Yeah. Of culture, I would say. I bid to Shakir and Tarunisha, the masters of ceremony, Auntie Muhammad Kadri bin Fadil Rahman, the Deputy Director of Teacher Education Institute, Ipoh Campus, Dr. Munira Abdul Hamid, Miss Aziza Abdul Kadir, the wonderful coordinator for this program, respectable judges, the committee members, the brilliant and enthusiastic participants, yeah, and Google Meet audience. First and foremost, indeed it is an applaudable public speaking competition. Yeah, I'm sure all of you enjoyed listening to all the speakers' speeches. I'm actually very, very impressed with the participants' enthusiasm in participating, especially Bilal. Bilal, you are warded yet. You are still eager to deliver your speech. Salute to you, yeah? Keep up the spirit. I also believe that this partnership will not stop here. Let's get united further. And as the chief judge, well, I observed that every single participant, you have prepared and presented your speech very eloquently and very presentably. Yeah, I believe that you have taken much, much effort with probably your lecturers or your teachers, and I see the braveness and boldness of you representing your country and share a lot of cultural information with all of us. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I believe you young people are the nation builders of not only my beloved country, but also your respectable countries. And being here in Malaysia and getting united with us is a pleasant journey for us. Yeah, a big round of applause to all speakers. For I believe all of you are winners today. Whether you get a first prize, second prize, or third prize, uh, it is just a matter of number. But being here and participating is the most essential thing for you as students. Yeah? All the very best and good luck. I think the results will be notified tomorrow by the coordinator. Thank you, everyone. Nice meeting you all. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Kanakamal, for that wonderful remarks. And now we have come to the end of this public speaking competition. And for your information, there will be prizes for the first, second, and the third winners. And every participant will get e-certificates for sure. The winner of this public speaking competition will be announced via email tomorrow. We would like to thank all the wonderful people who have participated in this competition, and thank you.
It's been an absolute honor for us to be among such amazing individuals today. We sincerely appreciate everyone's attention and patience throughout this event. I finish up this event by saying thank you and goodbye.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was nice meeting you.